Hello and welcome back to ROADTRIpVIA, the road trip ready trivia quiz made to be played in the car. Today's episode is number 490, the category Brainy Tuesday number 14. This is a 21 question random knowledge trivia quiz where all of the questions are just a little bit more difficult than your typical pub quiz. So you're going to have to turn on your thinking cap and get ready. Let's get started with question number 1. It is a Turkish word meaning lord, and in 1206, a Mongolian ruler named Genghis assumed the title. What is this word whose wrath Captain Kirk faced in the second Star Trek movie? Okay, I know I just said these were going to be tough. Apparently we're starting with an easy one, warming your brain up, and then we'll get into the difficult questions. Star Trek II was the Wrath of Khan. Khan is the answer. Question number 2. An elegant, airy building of native red brick with a classical Roman dome and a Greek-style portico. What is the name of the Virginia mansion depicted on the back of a US 5-cent piece? We're looking for the name of that mansion. The home of Thomas Jefferson. The answer is Monticello. Question number 3. Appreciated for its color and its natural beauty since Neolithic times, some of the most exquisite jewelry in the world is created from what semi-precious gemstone made of fossilized resin? We know this fossilized resin as amber. Question number 4. If blood is broken down too rapidly, the liver may not be able to remove the abnormal amount of bilirubin fast enough, and the individual suffering from what resulting condition will exhibit a yellow pallor? The condition where an individual can kind of appear yellow is called jaundice. Question number 5. Born in Bombay, India and educated in England, what author of Captains Courageous and Gunga Din did much of his writing from his home in Vermont and was the first Briton and the youngest person to win the Nobel Prize in Literature? At the time, he was the youngest person to ever win the Nobel Prize in Literature. The answer is Rudyard Kipling. Question number 6. On June 30th, 1881, he called in Abraham Lincoln's son for an hour of recollection about the 1865 assassination. Then, 2 days later, what man became the second U.S. president shot while in office? The answer is James Garfield. Question number 7. Alnico is a type of iron alloy often used in the production of powerful magnets. What are the 3 metallic elements bonded to iron whose chemical symbols spell the name Alnico? Al, Ni, and Co stand for aluminum, nickel, and cobalt. Question number 8. Among the biggest events of what century were the beginning of the iconoclastic controversy in the East, the Saracen invasion of Spain in the West, Charles Martel died, and Charlemagne was crowned emperor? All of these events happened in the 8th century. Question number 9. Serving as the 32nd Commander-in-Chief, who is the only U.S. president to win the popular vote in 4 different elections, defeating, in order, Herbert Hoover, Alf Landon, Wendell Willkie, and Thomas Dewey? The name of that president was Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR. Question number 10. First published in 1855 without a title, in 1856 it was given the temporary title of Walt Whitman, an American. Then in 1860 was shortened to simply Walt Whitman. What title did Walt Whitman finally give this classic poem about Walt Whitman? Eventually, he changed the name to the much more poetic Song of Myself. Question number 11. Admah, Zeboiim, and Zoar were, according to both the Old Testament and the Quran, 3 of the 5 cities of the plain. What were the names of the 2 other, more notorious cities of the plain? You may not have heard of Admah, Zeboiim, and Zoar, but you have heard of Sodom and Gomorrah. Question number 12. The Italian composer Vincenzo Bellini is famous for his 1831 opera La Sonnambula. Translating La Sonnambula from Italian into English describes what nighttime disorder? La Sonnambula means sleepwalking. Sleepwalking is the answer. Question number 13. Traditionally described as too thick to drink and too thin to plow, what 2,300-mile-long American river is nicknamed the Big Muddy and travels sidewise before joining the Mississippi River near St. Louis? I love the description of that. Too thick to drink, too thin to plow. The answer is the Missouri River. Question number 14. For any wave motion, it is defined as the maximum displacement from the mean value. For a pendulum, it is half the extent of its swing. What is the term for this quality, which is modulated in some forms of radio communication? The term we're looking for is amplitude. Question number 15. Clarence was his disciple, Sandy his wife, Hello Central his daughter, Merlin his enemy, and Arthur his king. What literary character created by Mark Twain suddenly found himself in the wrong century? His name is Hank Morgan, but if you said a Connecticut Yankee, we'll count it. Question number 16. Chinese, English, French, Russian, and Spanish are 5 of the 6 official languages of the United Nations. What 6th language was added in 1973 which allows the delegates of Bahrain, the Sudan, and Somalia to converse? Added in 1973, the answer is Arabic. Question number 17. Spending his final year in a small garden house behind Westminster Abbey, and when what man died on October 25th, 1400, was buried in the abbey itself as the first and arguably the greatest Englishman to be interred in Poets' Corner? The answer is Geoffrey Chaucer. Question number 18. Sometimes stability is listed as the fourth, but for the most part, what are the three traditional vows that monks and nuns take before joining their respective organizations? So sometimes stability's on the list, but what are the three main vows? You can add stability to poverty, chastity, and obedience. Question number 19. The 18-foot-long marlin and the 16-foot-long boat piloted by the elderly Santiago are central elements of what 1952 modern classic novella by Ernest Hemingway? The marlin, the boat, and Santiago are all central elements of The Old Man and the Sea. And question 20. A Practical Handbook of Bee Culture and Upon the Distinction Between the Ashes of the Various Tobaccos are two works supposedly written by what fictional creation of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle? Those non-fiction books were fictionally written by Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is the answer to question 20. That wraps up the first part of today's quiz. If there is a tie right now, there will be a tiebreaker question coming up at the end of this episode. If you need to stick around for that, make sure you subscribe to us here on YouTube. The channel is called ROADTRIpVIA. It is just regular old trivia that's made to be played while driving your car. We read the questions out loud. We make it as easy as possible for you to just have playing in the background. You can listen and play along as you're driving without taking your eyes off the road. We've got about 1,500 episodes right now. We're adding new episodes all the time, so subscribe here on YouTube, and you can follow along on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Now, let's get ready for question 21, the tiebreaker for today. Playing for the Chicago Bulls and the Washington Wizards, he averaged an NBA record 30.12 points per game over 15 seasons. How many total regular season points did Michael Jordan score during his NBA career? Whichever player gets closest to 32,292 points is going to win the point for today's trivia. If there was a tie after question 20, whoever just won that point just won the whole game. Congratulations. Thank you for watching. Make sure you check us out on the next trip. We'll see you later.